Kobbie Maino is Manchester United's saviour. For me, that's the only positive about the game. And, of course, the reaction from Ruben Amorim after a terrible first half. Welcome to the United Sport. Sad ending to the year, but are you surprised? It is typically what has been the whole story of 2024 for Manchester United. Disappointing performances, whether at Old Trafford or on the road. So against the Newcastle that's flying high, honestly, it's not as bad as it could have gone. But guys, we finish off this year, 2024, with a loss against a team that's on form. Terrible first half we had. Ruben Amorim spots the problem because Joshua Zirkzee was a problem from the onset. It's like he was a drunken master. You know, those movies we used to watch, those Vietnamese movies. A guy who is just clueless, running around, can't control the ball, can't pass the ball. He was all over the place like a problem. I think Ruben Amorim's reaction to even have the audacity to pull him off in the first half, for me, was impeccable. Brings on Kobbie Maino, and Maino was, I think, the calmest I've seen him in a long time. I think this is the Kobbie Maino I think we fell in love with. This is the Maino I fell in love with. Almost the one, because the calmness he brought onto the pitch is what everyone else, I think, played off. And you see that calmness might seem to be might be underrated, but it is what got us almost trying to push and score goals. But still, again, even in our struggles in the first half, we missed so many chances. Actually, I think it was in the second half that we missed. Yes, still first half when Kobbie came on, creating for Casemiro, failing. He fails to score a sitter. We missed simple chances. Hojlund misses one. But let me give my verdict as we go into this January transfer window, as we go into the new year. I'm telling you guys, so many players are going to leave Man United. Joshua Zirkzee is going to be sent out on loan. This could probably be his last game in a Man United jersey. I will tell you that. I don't think Joshua Zirkzee will play any more games. I think at the very worst, for as long as Rashford is still there, I think Amorim might play Rashford before he thinks of bringing back Zirkzee. I'm not to say that Rashford is any better, but I'm just trying to give you the degree to which Zirkzee is off. I think he's going to be sent out on loan. His stupid decision to try and run to the tunnel when he was pulled off, I think the things that anger Ruben Amorim the more, talking about the attitude, the wrong attitude of these players. You have a bad game, you're pulled off, and you're trying to rush away. Going where? Sit there. In fact, I believe, like the commentator said, he was called back by probably Amorim. He made an order, come back here. Where are you going? You have had a terrible game. You are trusted by the manager. You're a new big money signing. Have a terrible game. Instead of staying there showing character, it's okay to have a bad day in office. It's normal. Of course, he has had several of them. Maybe it's abnormal for his case, but the response of him being pulled off in that shameful manner and choosing to go is, I think, a clear example of the kind of wrong attitude that these players have. And that's what Amorim was saying. The profiles of players we sign is so wrong. You look at that whole team and you're thinking, how are these Man United players? But I loved Amorim's reaction that quickly, after spotting the problem, which we also pulled it off without fear, that is still a first half, and brought on a solution. And from that moment, Newcastle was out of the game. So for me, that shows that the problem is not really the coach. It's the player. You see a coach who knows what he's doing, a team that is coached well, but a bunch of incompetent individuals with the wrong attitude, but also the wrong levels of skill. There is no proper talent in this game. Let me talk about... Of course, I also like the fact that I saw Harry Maguire put on the captain's armband. It felt good, honestly. I think since he was stripped of it, this is the first time he puts it on. I think that's a good thing to bring back his confidence, honestly. He has worked so hard to that point that he can even be given the armband to just put it on. It could have been, I think if it were Eric Ten Hag, it would have been Onana putting it on, or Mazraoui or someone. So I think for me that was good to see. But Nusal Mazraoui, this could have been Mazraoui's worst game in Man United. He failed to mark Anthony Gordon. I said it here. You saw that in moments it was Ahmad who was helping him to mark for him Anthony Gordon. I said it here that I would have preferred Ahmad to play wing back because he can go and come back and tame Gordon. Mazraoui was playing inside. leaving Gordon. Both of the goals were United conceded. For me, I would blame them on Mazraoui. He knows that boy is so good with crosses, and we know that Isak does not miss a header. You leave him, such a player, you man mark them, because there was no business Mazraoui cutting inside to try and add, because he ended up almost marking delete. He was ending up as if he's marking delete. So for me, those little errors, again, I think players are not alert, they are not educated. You know Anthony Gordon is lethal like that, but you keep cutting in and leaving him alone, then you try to come and cover the gap. By the time you get there, he has crossed the ball. Inch perfect crosses to a guy who never misses with his head in Isak. By the way, I think Isak is one of the best headers of the ball in the Premier League. He's one of them, honestly. So for me, I think those are errors on the individuals. Then you think of Hojlund, I can say this honestly, guys, this year Chido Obi Martin is going to be trusted. If Man United does not get a strike on loan, Chido Obi will probably play more games in the Premier League in the second half of the season than Rasmus Hojlund. I will say that Chido Obi will probably play more games in the second half next year in the Premier League than Hojlund, if this is the level Hojlund is going to keep himself at. It's too bad. It's just too bad. You don't feel at all that Hojlund is close to scoring a goal. Save for that one chance he sent wide, you didn't feel at all that Hojlund was coming close. But wrong movements, I don't know what happened to Hojlund. At the start of the season, Hojlund had some of the best movements I've seen in a striker. And those are the things I keep banking on and hoping that he will turn up. But it looks like it gets worse by the day, if you ask me. It gets worse by the day, and I hate to see it. But I won't go into the detail of complaining, because in terms of the midfield, maybe the one thing that again was glaring, and I know it's painful to say, of this lot, and this is not to say that Bruno is a brilliant player and is untouchable, but clearly these players need Bruno. They make him look so good, because in this team without Bruno they are garbage, complete garbage. You would see clearly that they miss a big factor, a player who makes them play along. Bruno tries to work hard and give you that, can I call it a false hope? At times it turns out to make sense. But Man United, this particular group of players without Bruno is as good as not there. Now the next game is Liverpool at Anfield. Need I say anything? Perhaps not, but it's a rivalry, it's a big rivalry. And again, I'll be here to talk about it with more belief. I think for me, what Ruben Amorim needs to do going into the new year is let him have the audacity, the confidence to trust the youngsters. I expect to see in the next year more of those young players that he has failed to promote to the senior team, the Chido Obis. Let him bring them. I'm going to drop a video about Sekou Kone's situation. Remember, he got an injury. I'm going to tell you about his injury situation and when he could be back. When he's fit, put him there. Trust the youngsters. Even if they lose, no one will complain. Otherwise, this is ugly. 20 goals conceded in 11 games for Amorim. It's not good. But we still believe in the coach. We are backing him, and I'm sure Ineos too will back him, because he has shown what he can do. The team is playing in 2 weeks. That second half was a big improvement. It was a contained game. Man United felt like they could have scored a goal, perhaps if they had better strikers, if they were more composed, not rushing into decisions at the end. So there is the second half is all I want to keep in my memory. So that's it. Year has ended. We'll talk more about Man United tomorrow or this morning. Cheers.